What's up? So I'm sweating buckets of tank top the way I'm just so hot thanks to the South African power cut crisis. And on that crisis, let's speak about the Boksburg explosion. What is going on with the South African mind, guys? Do you know Elon Musk is from South Africa? So too is Charlize Theron. So too is, who else can I think of? Trevor Noah. People who are just like ridiculous, big, fat, chunky brains. I'm also from South Africa, and I'm really genius. There are very clever people from this nation. We have got some of the smartest people in the world. Our genes literally produced the guy who's going to bring about the mark of the beast for the Antichrist, Elon Musk. That's the brain of South Africans. How in the world such a brainy society has got such melted infrastructure is beyond me. How we don't have electricity is beyond me. And how that tank explosion killed 18 people without firefighters foreseeing that something that is full of gas could explode and kill anybody in a certain amount or meterage width of a radius. This land is too smart to have overseen that. So the issue then with whatever under heaven happened there, Boksburg, is bigger. Do you understand? Larger, grander, for crying out loud, than, let's just put that out there, and a lack of anticipation of what could have happened. We are dealing with firefighters. Guys who go to school, I would imagine. You don't just start like taking out fires. You must go through some kind of training as to what could exacerbate a fire, how to take it out real quick, or from what angle to approach it. It was a what do they call this thing? A gasoline truck carrying a whole bunch of petroleum in it. How in the world could you not have foreseen that something like that, when it burns, might just explode? This nation has got minds that are not working. Do you not see that we are under a curse? That there are rulers, principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places holding us hostage in the brains that we have. We have got multiple versions. If at all it was a movie, it would be like Blubber. You know that one with Robin Williams where some green little man keeps on multiplying into multiple other little green men. We've got multiple Blubbers in this land of Elon Musk, of Charlize Theron, of Trevor Noah, of Karabo, of really smart people that are so gifted that they get taken up by other countries to go and do amazing things. Do you understand? So how in the world is a land full of the blubber mass of Elon Musk bombing a whole bunch of kids, causing a mom to lose 4 in one day, when there is a fire happening, for crying out loud, around a big fat chunky truck that has got gasoline in it? How did it was already burning when it exploded. It was already on fire. How did firefighters who were on the scene not know to evacuate people and to make them be as far away from the scene as possible? Why was it not quarantined? Why was there not a radius, a distance from which people could spectate and watch? Those kids were killed by the dumbed down principality feeding South Africa. It almost feels like a human sacrifice. I know there are more people who passed away than just those children. But for me, my biggest pain point is for that mother who lost 4 kids in one sitting. There were supposed to be figures of authority who were already there on the scene that would tell people to please stay really far away until they can gauge that it is safe for anyone to be in close proximity, since this thing is full of gasoline. The land has been dumped down, do you not see? South Africa has been dumped down, do you not see? It's like our brains don't work. We've got a blubber mass of Trevor Noah walking around, and yet they can't figure out something so basic as, if there is a combustible substance near a fire, it might just get bigger, better, maybe even explode. They are trying to hold that truck driver responsible for culpable homicide, in which case, yes, indeed, I agree. He ought, because in and of himself being the driver of a gas tanker, ought have seen better. Ought have seen that if you drive under a low-lying bridge, there might be friction that might cause your big, fat, chunky petrol in the back of your, truck there to blow up. He ought indeed be held responsible, but he should not be the only one held responsible. The fire department should also be held responsible, whose firefighters did not quarantine that site and tell people stay as far away from this as possible. And on top of this, the South African government needs to also be held responsible, because for the longest amount of time, there have been petitions to create designated routes for trucks, so they don't have to slow down traffic, for crying out loud, everywhere we go. And so they will have bridges made specifically for them that are their height. I know as well, on bridges there tends to be some kind of a marker there to say no longer than this height. If your truck is this height, you can only fit this kind of length, but height, and that's why the truck driver is responsible. But South Africa in and of itself is also responsible. You and your stealing money as government officials, and therefore not participating, not contributing, to the infrastructural redevelopment of the country, have made it impossible for truck drivers, for instance, that are driving trucks that have got not bread but gasoline in them, to have designated routes. They are supposed to have something like that in place. to prevent such incidents as the one that happened on Christmas Eve in this country. It was devastating. That woman did not have to lose her kids, but this South Africa is rotten, it is bereft, it is devastated, and it is also under the influence of demonic spirits that have taken away the ability for big fat chunky brains similar to those of Elon Musk to actually function. How is a land that produces such geniuses, how in the world is a country that has got such intelligent people in it unable for the life of itself to just have basic functionality on the daily? How? Everybody is languishing in the land. Everybody is bereft. Everybody's going to forget about that woman who lost the 4 kids in one sitting. Because next year you're going to move on to the next agenda and the next one. You're going to carry on with your power cuts, and that woman is going to have to mourn her kids for years to come. God forbid it should be for years to come. My prayer is that the rapture would happen so she would be comforted indeed, with everybody else losing something. But South Africa is obviously under something nefarious, something dark. And in their shallowness, literally are always just passing the buck. That truck driver is not the only person responsible for the death of those kids and all the other people that passed away in that incident. That truck driver is not the only one that should give an apology. The whole government of South Africa should give an apology, should also compensate those people who lost what they lost. The company, the gas driver, should also, be responsible culpably to a certain extent, because they ought to have like some kind of tracking devices on their trucks to gauge where it is that they're at, and so rebuke people. So the gas company, the government, the firefighting department that could not be smart enough to tell people, given that they work with fire all the time, to get away as far as possible, that they might not be bombed, and the difficulty for this country to operate functionally being as a result of governmental indiscretion. I mean, no, seriously speaking, guys, the low-lying bridge, think about what that truck driver was supposed to do. Here it is that a man is trying to get to where he needs to get, and there is only one place that he can go. He is a truck, so to reverse or to do a U-turn is a mighty feat. Is he going to back up, or is he going to try and go in anyway? He was put in a rock and a hard place, and he chose a hard place as opposed to a rock. Either way, there would have been some kind of a disaster. However, if he had turned back, there would not have been as bad a disaster, but there would have been some kind of traffic jam as a result of him turning back. Why was there no designated route on his GPS in Germiston to send him to where he needed to go? Why did he have no other options except that one? That is a South African building infrastructure problem. It is not that truck driver's issue. So way more people are stakeholders who have participated in the mutiny against all those families than just that one truck driver that they're all trying to put on the shoulders of. At just a meager age of 32, those culpable homicide charges, he's not the only one that should go and see the inside of a prison cell. If you don't arrest government officials, if you don't arrest some firefighters, if you don't arrest some officials from the company that was that gas tanker's employer, is it EP Gas or whatever, I don't care, it doesn't matter. If they don't arrest somebody from that place and take them to prison and hold them vicariously responsible for the deeds of that truck driver, then that truck driver should walk away scot-free. Either arrest them all or let the truck driver go. When I found out that they are putting culpable homicide charges on just that man alone, I was like, South Africa, typical of you to go and pass the buck, literally lay the blame of a country's indiscretion on one man so you can continue to be a buffoon and continue on as normal while everybody else disregards the fact that you have destroyed the whole freaking country. You've killed that woman's 4 kids in one sitting. You, South Africa, that man is like an employee for an organization or a country that is more vicariously responsible for what happened here than that man in and of himself is. He's just a minion. The people in the back end having caused the situation, they're the ones that need to account more so ever than that truck driver. If you're going to send that truck driver to prison for however many years it is that those multiple counts of culpable homicide are going to send him to prison for, then you need to go and send Cyril Ramaphosa and his irresponsible government alongside the organization that man works for. Their CEO, who also needs to go to prison. That's all I'm saying. I'm signing out in Christ's name. I really hope you've heard. Seriously, I hope Christ returns. So all these indiscretions on the ground will be literally shed light to. People are going to prison for things that they are not solely responsible for. It's just crazy. This country is ridiculous. I'm out.